Michael.
Paul. We are
you?
24. I'm good, man. We are 24 hours out from the Badlands live event at Stout. Literally 24 hours from now, I think the two of us will be on stage talking about this football team. So how are the nerves feeling? 24 hours out from the big day.
Less this time than last time, honestly. I'm kind of feeling okay about it at this point. Of course, there's like the last minute planning, like trying to get all the ducks in a row, herding cats, all that good stuff. But definitely less nervous this time than last time. I thought I'd come on here tonight and ease everybody into the business hair. I think it was a little bit shocking last time, so I figured we'll slow walk to it this time.
I loved it the first time. I still love it now. I think the combination of me having a hat and you not having a hat was like plus 1,000 for this podcast. So, to let the listeners know, when we get onto StreamYard, Paul can see me, but I can't see him, so I have no idea what his outfit looks like going into it. So it's nice that he got to surprise me. He got to show everyone the business hair, which has been a running joke in our group chat for months now.
The meme that Meegs puts out constantly of me wearing sunglasses was right after I got a haircut before the last live event. And I was like, whatever. I knew that they were always breaking my balls about my hair because nobody ever sees it. And the amount of mileage you've gotten out of that is just fantastic. Exactly. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, this, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right.
Absolutely.
So tonight, the Jet starters aren't playing, but do we care? No. It's still the Jet. And as they say, as the coach will say, another day to get better. So I wasn't shocked Glenn wasn't playing the starters. I think especially from Fields, Tyrod's already hurt. The Eagles are going to play third and fourth stringers. If Fields got hurt and we're looking at like a Brady Cook, Adrian Martinez week one start, I think you would lose the fan base before you even had him this season. So I understand why he's not doing it as much as I like to see Fields get the reps. So I get it. It's going to make tonight a little boring in the fact that it's not going to be what you want to see, but probably cause more chaos. So I'm really interested to see how the third stringers look tonight.
Yeah, I think like you said, it's not really what we all wanted. I mean, it does allow us to all go out and enjoy our Friday nights as opposed to just being prisoner of preseason third week football, which is, even if we got the starters, probably wasn't going to be all that exciting. Mm-hmm. So there is that. I think that, to me, I'm not ready to make a call on this move until we see how they come out of the tunnel week one against Pittsburgh. If they come out ready, first drive looks good and the second drive looks good, right? Like enough of the scripted first drive and then you fall off a cliff thing. If they come out ready and they look good the first couple of drives and the defense is flying around, okay, you made the right call. If they come out flat and there's still kinks to work out, and then God forbid we get a press conference that's like, well, we still need some time to gel, this and that, then this is a problem for me, because that's what the preseason's for. You had 3 weeks plus training camp to try to get this thing together. If you're indicating to me that you feel like you're ready by not putting out starters, fine. I'm good with that, right? I trust the coaching staff. But if what we see is different than that, then it becomes a little bit harder to deal with. It's like in Step Brothers, the tuxedos are a little fucked up now. I'm going to feel that way if they come out flat week one.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even like a preseason thing. It's also just dude, this is your first game as a head coach. This is the first game of the season. You have a shared history with the quarterback of the opposing team week one. If you don't have the boys ready to play, then I don't know when you're ever going to have the boys ready to play. So not even factoring in preseason, laying an egg or coming out flat week one, regardless of if the starters played, 2 halves this entire preseason or didn't show up at all, I think that's going to be a reflection of the coaching staff. But yes, I think it's really, if Fields looks comfortable in the system in the early weeks, people aren't going to care about this. If he looks rusty and he feels like he hasn't getting it, then it's going to be tough. But looks like we got our first caller of the night. Normally, Will, I pencil you in for the tail end. You're getting in here bright and early. So look at you being punctual.
Oh no. Yeah, I got Yank socks, dude. I gotta be locked in.
Oh yeah, Max Fried's gonna let up 4 runs in the first inning because his games start to matter.
Post blister, Max Fried is the worst pitcher of all time. I think I looked at it last night. I had the graphic up. Here, I have what a disaster. My dog, Max Fried, pre blister Meegs, 10-2 with a 1.90 ERA, Since then, 70 ERA. What are we doing? Sit him down. Stop pulling a Robert Saleh.
I think both managers are having a real hard time of it right now. The only thing that's making the Mets' troubles a little bit easier is the Yankees' troubles. And I'm sorry that I'm a hater, but I am.
No, I would hate the Yankees as well.
Mike Francesa had a tweet. I think it was last tweets I've ever seen, and it was just like, "Hey, the Yankees need to start showing up against good teams." Like, oh yeah, oh okay. Good analysis, dude.
Thanks, dude. Really appreciate the insight, bud.
So, Will, what are you looking for tonight? A little disappointing Stars aren't playing, but I think probably some real deal roster battles are happening tonight. Like, What do you see? You're the closest to the team of all of us. What do you see as kind of like the top, let's say 3 or 5 that's like you're either going to play well tonight or you're gone?
I would say like the biggest names. First of all, I think while we're probably not happy that starters are not playing, I think the starters are very happy to be getting a night off. They're going to get a long weekend. They went full pads for 2.5 hours on Wednesday. Like 5 weeks into camp, they're still hitting, going live. So I think these guys are a lot of bumps and bruises for the starters. Because the Eagles were not playing anybody, then it felt like there was no need to play the Fields. Fields doing well against the Eagles backups. It would have been, everyone would have said, who cares? And if he played badly, it would have been panic at like times 100. So matchups, I would say Leonard Taylor's got to have a good night. I know we're a podcast company group, whatever we're going by now, that is higher on Leonard Taylor than most. But I think the Jets have kind of told you that this staff is lukewarm on him. I think they like the talent. I don't think Monday through Saturday they love the lights just not always on. I don't know how else to say it without being like,
which
just mentally
that was kind of the rep on him coming out of college, right?
Yeah, you're a 5-star and you go to Miami and you don't get drafted. That's usually a sign of like the talent's there. And we saw, right? First Packers game, like it was there, and then he had to stop against the Giants, but like down to down. Their staff's very young, except the defensive line and defensive coordinator. Those are the two guys that have been in the league for like 30 years. They like consistent, I know what I'm getting every play. We can argue about Clemens all day long. The reason they like Clemens is because like they kind of know what they're getting every time. Like he's not going to be in the wrong spot assignment-wise. Whether he gets beat, different story, but assignment-wise, and he gives effort on every play. So like that's what they like. He's a higher floor, low ceiling guy. Taylor's a really high ceiling, pretty damn low floor. So he's a guy that needs to have a good night. I don't think Ruckert has to have some amazing night to make the team, but I also think that like he can't be a glaring weakness when they're on offense. You know what I mean? Like I think that he's fine as your tight end 3, and I know people argue with me. Like I want Stone Smart to play, which means Ruckert kind of gets bumped down into maybe more the heavier personnel guy. He's going to probably make the team, but he needs to just not have a bad night. I feel like he had a bad night against the Giants, and it just became a glaring, like, Jets Twitter lighting him on fire. And, again, we know the Jets pay attention to that stuff. So I'd say Ruckert and Taylor, 2 of the bigger names. I'm trying to think, like, offensive line, I mean, it's a Max Mitchell's going to make this team. I'd be really shocked if he doesn't. I think maybe a guy like Warren, a core 4, guys like that were like, the Jets, did the Jets opt for maybe a previous regime's younger guy? Do they opt for the veteran that they brought in on a cheap 1-year deal? Those are ones that stand out. And then like edge and defensive tackle, I think are the biggest ones that we're going to pay attention to. Like McGregor, Watts. But one of those guys has got to figure it out. I don't know how else to like say it. McGregor had a nice week of practice, but he's done nothing in the game. So those are some of the guys that were on the team last year, and then receiver, obviously, as we know. Smith and Skinner have made it really hard for Lazard, Gibson, and Corley to make this roster. I think there's a 2% chance Corley's on this roster, 10% Gibson's on this roster. Like, it is – I don't know. Like, why would they be on the team? They haven't had good summers, and they're not this regime's problem.
Okay, so do you think any of those guys are, like, legitimate – like Leonard Taylor, Watts, McGregor, let's start there. Are they, like – they're really in danger. They could get cut.
I mean, so like let's just do the math, right? Let's go roster gymnastics here for a sec. There's 3 guys that are guaranteed to be on the roster, right? They just give draft capital for 2 guys. Those guys are obviously going to be on the roster. Quinton's going to be on the roster. We're already at 3 before we even talk about Tufele. He's the first name out of the defensive line guy's mouth. And then I just think, I don't know. To me, I would think those are the guys that make. Those are guys making, and Coward's probably an IR guy. If he's not an IR guy, he might kick Taylor's a difficult one. I'd like to keep him. I don't think Coward's very good, but obviously Washington had Coward in Chicago, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Will, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Enjoy the Yankees game. I hope it goes well for you, honestly. I can't help you.
I will see you fellas tomorrow.
Exactly.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Man.
Thanks, brother. Bye.
Alrighty, got beats on the ground. Will's been at camp. People say he's doing a good job in that regard. So I love that Will came able to join us tonight. Will absolutely knows what he's talking about. I think there are some other members of Jets media who like to talk down to people like us. So it's always nice to give Will a spotlight because he really does put in the work.
That's a weird dynamic, right? Like, why wouldn't you want, more people to be winning here, right? It's strange, especially if you're carrying water for another organization. I would say it's a bad look. I think it's a bad look.
Yeah. I mean, some people who cover football, like Will, made a very astute point about how, playing against the 3s and 4s of the Eagles, like what's Justin Fields, really going to prove? And then if he looks bad, how does that go? And then other members of football media can watch you, play. What's the team I'm thinking of? That's played against the 3 and 4s, and then say that your rookie quarterback is ready because he played the 3 and 4s, and he doesn't need to sit at all. So
right,
different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Some might say that he's the future on offense of the franchise after throwing a couple good passes against a bad defense. Yeah. But hey, we're not here. We're not here
to say that. No. We're just, cutting our teeth in this game, like Will is, and one day we'll maybe get to the level of those other folk.
Yeah, someday. I can only hope, really.
Mike,
I do want to ask you kind of a coaching philosophy question. So we saw very much in the Saleh years that he very much preached this whole, like, I'm big on character thing. And I think for the most part, he did take high character guys. Like they really did prioritize that. We've said this on a few of the pregame shows before that, like, the Jets have always done a good job of getting mostly good men in the building. But the other thing that we saw from Saleh a lot was like reclamation projects where he was happy to take somebody who had some issues in other places and say, I'm going to love him up. That was like a phrase he would use all the time, and try to get the guy back on the right track. And I think there are coaches who historically are very good at that. Like Sean Payton is awesome at that. Like, love, hate Sean Payton, no matter what you want to say, he's good at that. There are certain coaches who have always thrived with kind of like taking a guy who's had some issues and making him better. Is Aaron Glenn more of like a, I don't need your bullshit around here guy? Like, I'm not putting up with this if you're not showing me the effort between Monday and Saturday, to use Will's phrase.
I mean, I don't know. I would lean yes, because I think Aaron Glenn is trying to establish a culture. He's trying to set a standard. I think the way you become a reclamation project, like, success story, like Sean Payton, or you could be like Mike Tomlin, who you don't realize in the moment the head cases that he's managing, and you don't realize how off the reservation they are until they leave Mike Tomlin, which is probably another way of viewing it. But I think you need equity with your fan base to get to that point. Like, I don't think you see a lot of newer coaches. Like, and I think the perfect example of who we would like Aaron Glenn to be is, like, if Aaron Glenn is like D'Amico's been in Houston, everyone at the fan base is happy. Defensive coach, players love him, still has an offensive identity on the offensive side of the ball, like, always has his guys ready to play, has had 2 winning seasons. Like, I think that'd be a great sign. Like, I don't think D'Amico in his first years in Houston, when he was trying to fix a broken culture, because we know how bad it was down there, was really like taking on reclamation projects. Like he brought in guys that he knew from San Francisco, from his playing days. Like he got the guys who knew his system, who knew his culture, and it's worked. So I think Aaron Glenn would be actually pretty good at that, because Aaron Glenn's been in a lot of situations as a player. He was a first-round pick with the Jets, but also he was an expansion pick for the Texans. So for a player who's seen a lot and seen a lot of good and seen a lot of bad as a player, I think he'd actually be a very good coach for helping, guys who washed out other places. But I don't know if we're going to see that until hopefully year 3 or year 4 after he establishes some success, because there's risk in it.
I said this to you a couple weeks ago, and I forgot the word that I always say to Connor, but I always say like Meegs is really I'm forgetting the word again. It's not astute, but it's like insightful. Mm-hmm. And that's a very insightful way to put it, because like to understand that, hey, maybe I do have this skill set, but right now at this stage of my coaching career, at this stage that the franchise is in, I don't have the time, right? Like I can do it, but I'm just not going to do it yet, I think is a really, if that's what's going on, I think that's a really intelligent point of view from Aaron Glenn to be like, look, like at some day, maybe we will have the structure in place that can support somebody like, and just to use an example from last year, support like bringing in a Javon Kinlaw or bringing in even like you could argue Hassan Reddick, like bringing in.
And Tampa's
like
doing
that.
Right now with Hassan Reddick. Like Bulls is established there. That front office has been there forever. They have talent all over the roster. They can afford the dice roll of Hassan Reddick, thinking we have a great defense. We have a history with edge rushers. Bulls knows what he's doing. We have a culture here. You're not going to come in and say act like your shit don't stink when Vita Vea, Levante David, Mike Evans are running this locker room. Like that's not going to play here. Like Tampa's in a position to take that exact dice roll you're talking about, and Aaron Glenn is hopefully working towards it.
Yeah, that's a great point. We have a comment saying JFM was a reclamation project. I don't think he was in the same way that we're talking about these other guys. Yeah. JFM he washed out with the Rams. Like he just couldn't figure it out with the Rams, but he wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't getting in trouble or anything like that. And so agree that he was a reclamation project, but not, I don't know if it's necessarily in the same sense that we're speaking about Leonard Taylor right now, because Leonard Taylor has some, let's call them focus issues that need to be fixed. And like, and I don't even know if Leonard Taylor is in the same boat as Arian Smith, because Arian Smith has some focus issues, but those are like on-field focus issues.
Yes.
He's committed to putting in the work. It's just that he struggles moment to moment with focus, where it seems like Leonard Taylor might have like kind of a bigger picture struggle with like, almost you're getting into questions of like, do you love football or not? Do you want to be here? Do you want this to be your job, or do you want to go do something else? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see that play out over the course of the next couple seasons.
Yeah. I mean, with Leonard Taylor, like Leonard Taylor was a college player in the NIL era. Like it's a little different being a college player when you're a 5-star, 10 years ago. And while yes, the money was under the table, and I'm not going to pretend like 5 stars didn't get paid in any way, shape, or form. When you're in the NIL era and they pay you millions to come out of high school, and then you get that to stay on Miami's roster, it's the Marvin Hagler quote. It's hard to get up and run at 5 o'clock in the morning when you woke up in satin sheets. Like there's a different type of player coming into the NFL post portal, post NIL, that you have to realize that a lot of these guys are going to wash out because they don't have they're like, from a financial perspective, they're not staring down the barrel of a gun that they used to be when they couldn't get paid.
Yep, 100%. Another great point. Quick call out to Jake Assman, watching the live stream from Vegas. Jake's about to hop on a red-eye flight to be with us tomorrow. Jake is going to be our MC tomorrow night. Jake's an absolute pro. He knows what he's doing. We know we can trust him, and he's going to keep everybody on time and running tomorrow night. Jake, also, I should call out, thank you, Jake, for showing us StreamYard, because I had no idea how to use this thing or what to do. And we were scrambling 2 weeks ago trying to figure out how we were going to do this. And Jake really helped out. So Jake, thank you for tomorrow night. Thank you for the plug, and thank you for helping us with StreamYard. We're looking forward to seeing you, and good luck on that red eye home from flight from Vegas. I've been on a red eye from Vegas. It's not a good place, dude. Good luck.
No, good luck. Good luck, Jake. So excited to see you tomorrow, man. Thanks for all you do.
So Meegs, you have in here 3 predictions each on the Jets season. I assume you have yours loaded up, ready to go.
I got two, and then one. And like I said, I got two, and I think one is going. One. I'm gonna see if I want to take it out of the take chamber tonight. Like there are certain takes. Some you store right on the grill. Some got to be seasoned. So I'm not 100% sure about the last one, but I would say my number one take of the season is that I think Garrett Wilson is going to have his lowest production year as a Jet. But he got paid, so it doesn't matter. But
that's so on brand for you, Meegs.
Full disclosure, I haven't done like a real deal fantasy draft in maybe like 2 years because I've just been playing Dynasty. So I actually have to do one this year because someone asked me to join a league. So I've actually been like getting knee deep in like prep and stuff. I think of the draft's like the Wednesday before the NFL season starts. Dude, I don't want to take Garrett Wilson because he's such a good player. But from a counting stats, fantasy-wise, his situation just terrifies me. Like, I think the Jets are, like, I don't know if they're going to set the record for rushing attempts, but they're going to come damn near close, where it's like, if Garrett Wilson has 110 targets and catches 80 of them, I just don't know if he's going to get the same value he's gotten the past 2 years. And that while he likes this quarterback better, I don't know if the quarterback's going to get him the counting stats he needs. Maybe that's why he took the contract early. But I'm sorry to get pessimistic, but I had to be honest with fantasy drafts coming up about taking Garrett Wilson because I'm scared to do it myself.
I'm going to be vulnerable here with you for a moment, which I don't like to be. But when I was looking at Jets preseason lines for a show that we did with the other guys a couple weeks ago where we were trying to lay bets. Like we did this Garrett Wilson. I think his total was set at like 900 or something that's like suspiciously low. And I had this whole conversation with Jake about how like when Vegas is trying to tell you something, you should probably just believe it instead of trying to like get one over on Vegas. And there is a small part of me, like I'm a big Jets fan. I almost never bet against the Jets. One example of me betting against the team I like is a couple weeks ago when I was at the Mets Mariners game. I bet on Cal Raleigh to hit a home run, and when it cashed, I was just like, "Well, listen, I'm a little richer because of the Cal Raleigh home run, so I can live with it." When I looked at those preseason lines, I very much was like, the money is plus for Garrett Wilson to go under, and the line is suspiciously low. Vegas is begging people to take that over, begging. Because he's never had less than 1,000 yards. And so I had a moment, and I have not taken the bet, but I keep opening the app and looking at it and flirting with it where like, I don't want to believe that that's what's going to happen, but I have this like dark fear in the corner of my heart that like he is probably going to have his lowest output this season. And I don't necessarily want to put it all on Fields, but like part of it too is just like, hey, came in as a rookie, he's had 1,000 yards 3 straight seasons. Like if you keep that going throughout your entire career, you're Hall of Fame level. It's okay to have 1 year that's a backstep, and maybe the law of averages comes for Garrett Wilson this year. And it's not necessarily all Justin Fields' fault, but it still happens. So I'm scared about it too. I think I'm picking, I think 4th in my draft, which is thankfully is too high for Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, way too high.
Hopefully,
I don't know if 24th would be
right. So, well, he went like 9th last year, but that was Aaron Rodgers effect, something like that. Mm-hmm. So, I am like, I'm dreading the situation where the draft order's sneaking up on me and he's there, and I don't really like any of the other options because when I take Jets players in the draft, like they have their worst seasons. It's just a rule. It happens. I am responsible for Le'Veon Bell's downfall because I took him twice. So I'm really dreading that spot. And like, if I do end up in a spot where I have to pick him because there's no options, it's rough. Hopefully I can have the strength to bypass it. And it'll be like the Wesley Snipes meme where he's crying with the gun. Mm-hmm. And I'll just pass him by. But man, I think you might be right, but
I hate that. Like we're in the trust tree. This is not that I want this to happen. This is what I'm trying to warn the masses that Garrett Wilson's still good. And when they try to throw counting stats at you and say Drake London's better because they throw the ball 80 times a game, just know who told you.
I put the comment up. Meegs pissing in the punch bowl here.
Unfortunately, guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. It's on brand. I'll leave it there. So Geez. Okay. I'm going to go cold off the top of the dome here for season predictions because, like always, you did all the prep for this show and I've been running around with my hair on fire all day. So I think that they, this isn't necessarily a hot thing, but like I think they go over their Vegas win total. It's something I've been saying all off season. They are going to realize the value of good coaching. It just comes back to that. There's not a ton of analysis here. Like it is what it is. I think that they're a better team coached by Aaron Glenn, even if the talent is not as good as it was last year or the last few years. And I think that also this is not a talented team thing is a little overblown. When we were saying that this team was talented enough to go to the Super Bowl the last 2 years, like was the wide receiver room all that different knowing what we know now? Like, not really. Like Mike Williams wasn't good. Alan Lazard wasn't good. Jeremy Ruckert wasn't good. Like not so much has changed other than there's just kind of like a different group of supporting cast members slid in. Like they still have the offensive rookie of the year from a few years ago. They still have the defensive rookie of the year from a few years ago. They still have Quinnen Williams, still have Quincy Williams. You have Jamian Sherwood, who's paid now. You made a couple crafty additions in Cisco and Brandon Stevens. Both edge rushers hopefully are going to be healthy and good to go. So I push back on the narrative that the team is not as talented as they have been in the past few years. I think it's probably not there, but the difference is nominal enough that I'm not taking away 3 wins from them for that. So I think the value of good coaching proves out here, and we'll get over the 5.5.
Yeah, I think that's a good take. I mean, I like the Jets divisions breakdown of like the divisions they play this year. Like, I don't think the Jets have a daunting schedule in the way. Like the NFC North was, is going to be a gauntlet this year. The AFC West is going to be a gauntlet this year. The Jets missed both those divisions. I think they play the NFC. They play the NFC South and the AFC North, if memory serves, because they have Carolina on the schedule. Do I have this correct? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I think they get like a nicer division break that I think they're going to beat up on some bad teams, because when you have a good offensive line, you can run the ball, and if you are a bad team, you probably can't stop the run. You're going to get a couple wins. I think the difference between how they're talked about is like there was the illusion that Aaron Rodgers could still like be a top 10 quarterback, still be good, and like with the talent around him with top 10 quarterback play, the Jets could have, in theory, contended for the Super Bowl. That ceiling is now eliminated with Fields, which for a young player and for an athletic player, is that being too small-minded? Maybe so. And if the Jets find their way to 8, 9, God forbid, 10 wins, I think Fields having more in the chamber is going to be the reason why.
Yeah, you said AFC North and NFC South, right?
Yeah. And
then they have the Broncos and the Cowboys are the 2 wild card games. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I kind of like how the schedule shakes out. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm gonna issue a challenge to the chat here. We have Kyle Wilson in the chat. Kyle Wilson, if it's the real Kyle Wilson, call in. Dude.
Call in.
We got the link down there. Call. We want to talk to you.
Yes.
All right. So
go number 2. This one's much more positive.
All right, let's do it. Rip it.
I think Braylon Allen leads the team in touchdowns.
Ooh.
So
okay.
I think Braylon Allen, if you look at what happened in Detroit with Jamal Williams, with David Montgomery, Tanner Rankstrom was a part of all those offenses. I think they give the ball to their back at the goal line, and I think Braylon Allen's going to be the goal line back. I think we saw that through parts of the preseason. Breece Allen is going to be the guy to get you to the 20, and then once you get inside the 20, I think Braylon Allen is going to get the ball and get it a lot.
Okay, I like it. Is this colored at all by the session that we had with Max earlier this week that was previewing what we're all going to see tomorrow at the live show?
A little yes, a little that I just don't think they're going to trust Breece and goal line. I don't think the previous coaching staff didn't. Like I remember that distinct Bills play when they did like that like skinny halfback dive where Tyron Smith got the phantom holding penalty on, which they would have given the lead, where they gave that carry to Braylon. I just think more coaching staffs are going to trust Braylon in that scenario, in that area, that I just think they're going to see the size of him and just see how he was a guy who scored a ton of touchdowns in college, that they're just going to rely on him more too as well. He Fields vultures this, and that's where I'm wrong, but I think Allen's going to get a line share of the touches.
Yeah, and I think especially if you look at the Lions offense last year, like I actually had a Jahmyr Gibbs on my fantasy team last year, and anytime the Lions got inside the 10-yard line, I was like, all right, once they would get to third down, if they weren't, third and, 2 or 1 at the goal, it was always going to be Montgomery in those situations. And I think essentially you'll see the same thing. And I don't necessarily think it comes from a bad place about Breece Hall. I think it's more about preserving the weapon that is Breece Hall and wanting to save him for kind of the more open field touches and letting Braylon Allen absorb those hits because he's huge. And so I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think in order for that to happen, the Jets offense is going to have to be what we think they are, which is running the ball, moving the ball down the field slowly, not taking huge plays. And Breece is going to have to take advantage to get his touchdowns by breaking big plays. Like that's how Gibbs scored last year, was taking a screen deep or busting one on the outside of the edge and taking it all the way, such where we're like, oh my God, that was a terrible pick in fantasy or anything like that. But I just think that your point is probably right, that we see more from Braylon Allen. And quick plug for Max and Dan's session tomorrow. So a little peek behind the curtain. Meegs and I sat in on a session with Max and Dan earlier this week where Max kind of schooled us on outside zone, and he broke down a lot of film from the Jets preseason. And I'm going to stay away from the negative things that Max said here. I'm going to let him do that, and you guys can all boo him while he's on stage tomorrow night. But he said very positive things about Braylon Allen's vision and patience. Like he broke it down for us in slow motion and film of like, look what player A did here, and look what Braylon Allen does here. And here's the difference, and here's why one works and one doesn't. And I think I walked away from that being very, very impressed with Braylon Allen as not just a masher that's good in goal line situations, but actually like a little more of a complete back based upon the vision and the patience that he's going to be running with this year. So that was good. I think for my second one, I'm going to go player of the year this year. I think that he is the person who gets motivated externally. And I think that he also pays very much attention to what's being said about him in public. And I think he's mad. I think he's pissed off, and I think it's going to materialize. I think we saw that in the Packers game a little bit. Like he was playing with an edge in preseason game 1 that we didn't even see in a lot of regular season games last year. Like, and I'm positive, I've said this a million times too, like Aaron Glenn is in his ear saying, do you know what I would have accomplished if I was built like you when I was a professional? He is going to be hearing the noise on Twitter that he can't tackle, and I think he comes back strong, and he's Defensive Player of the Year this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bold take. If the Jets win 7 games and have the Defensive Player of the Year, I think we're definitely consider that a successful season. I think I'll just dovetail into this. I think Quinnen is a first-team All-Pro this year. That is probably my spiciest take. That's probably my most optimistic take. I think a lot of people forgot how good Quinnen Williams is. I think when you look at, Aaron Donald's gone, Dexter Lawrence and Chris Jones are probably the 2 best DTs in the league. It's a position that's not exactly up for grabs, but doesn't have a main stalwart in the regular season every year for the All-Pro award. That I really think Quinnen Williams in this scheme, with the new additions that they add at defensive tackle around him, with Will McDonald, with Jermaine being healthy, I think he's going to absolutely devour this. It's going to be an absolute game wrecker.
So Defensive Player of the Year good or just really good?
I think first team All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year, it's just not an easy award to win. Like you need 20 sacks, or you need to be like the best player on the best unit in the league, which is what Surtain was last year. He was the best corner, and Denver had the best defense. I don't know if the Jets defense as a unit is going to be quite that good. And Sauce doesn't get a lot of picks, which is a big eye-catching part for defensive backs. Like I remember with Stephon Gilmore, I think he had like a touchdown. He had a bunch of picks. Like Sauce's game we have not seen yet, so that's more why I just think that's a tough award to win, because it becomes very narrative based.
So do you think that he figures out how to take the ball away this year?
I think he'll get 4 picks, which I think would be double his career high, but I don't know if he's going to eclipse that.
Okay. All right. What am I going to do for my third one? I guess I should go with a negative one now at this point. I think that Nick Folk is probably a disappointment this year.
How dare you?
I think we come in, we look at his numbers the last 2 years with Tennessee, and we see how high his accuracy was and all that. The day I was at camp, I walked away from camp being like, we have not solved our kicker issue. I thought he looked like he had no juice in his leg. And it got to the point where at the end of that green-white practice, they were simulating kicks instead of actually doing kicks. They were doing dry kicks. So like they would wrap up a drive, offense would go down the field, stall out, 4th down, and instead of actually kicking the ball, they would just dry kick it. And so unless he figures out a way to get his body through this season, I feel like we're again towards the end of the year in kicker hell a little bit. And that sucks, but I feel like we're headed that way.
Yeah, I mean, he's not in a dome. Like, the elements do matter when you play for the Jets at MetLife. Like, once we get to October, November, December, it's going to be cold. It might snow. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be windy. So, like, that does matter. And that I think Nick is going to be in like that Cairo Santos range where like 52 and under, he's money. But if you are trying to make him go farther than that, you're going to get worse results. But we'll see who's right about this. But there's a lot of chatter in the chat about how these takes are bad. The Jets in win total is a lock. Garrett Wilson's getting 1,400 yards and 10 TDs. If you're so confident, come on the show and let us hear it. It's August. This one you should be the most confident about this football team.
Absolutely. We're here. We're waiting for you. Exactly. Just us and 1,000 of your closest friends are going to be watching you.
Exactly. And this will definitely get clipped and not posted when you're wrong, in December. We're definitely not petty in any way, shape, or form. Right, Paul?
No, I'm not. I'm probably the least petty person.
Least petty. We definitely don't remember things that were said years ago and just like to bring them up when we get proven right. That's not us at all.
So how about season-long futures? We talked about win total. We talked about Garrett Wilson, over under 900. Mm-hmm. Anything else that you spotted on the old betting app that you either like or dislike?
So for Jets wise, there's some other stuff outside the NFL which we can kick to at the end. More for the Jets wise, nothing. I don't know. It's hard betting on there's no real defensive futures, and the Jets offense is such a mystery to me that I really want to see it for 3 weeks. I really want. Thank you, Kyle Wilson. I really appreciate that. That the takes may be bad, but it's all. I appreciate that. But I don't. With their offense, I just don't know. I just don't want to live with the variance, the day by day. That's why I just think when they get in the red zone, they're not going to muck about, and that's why I think Braylon's going to lead the team in touchdowns. But I don't know if that's going to be 8 or 12 is, I guess, what I'm scared about. And if people may think I'm negative and don't want to see the Jets succeed in a way just to be right, I'm not betting on the Jets unders for their individual players. I'm not that much of a sicko.
But it's such a crappy place to be, because you start caring about your money, and when games are getting down to the line, so I do it even sometimes when I believe that, I want to bet against the Jets, or I want to bet a player or something like that. A lot of times I just can't do it because I'm I don't want to put myself in that position. I even take it too far sometimes where I'll never draft Josh Allen in fantasy. I understand how stupid that is. I get it. But I'm a well-documented Josh Allen hater, and I cannot risk my ability to be that big of a hater by kind of sneaky rooting for him on Sundays. I just can't do it. I don't have the moral discrepancy in me to handle that. So I get that just not being able to do it sometimes, but once in a while, as in when Cal Raleigh is playing in your stadium, you just have to do it. You just have to take the money.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Cal Raleigh. Hopefully, the ESPN makes a big deal about chasing the American League home run record as they did when someone else was chasing it, because that was a real record that we pretended was certainly a thing, and needed to cut out of college football broadcasts for it. Certainly so. Certainly. Is there anything that you like outside the Jets? 12 units on in the preseason because of that Justin Fields rushing touchdown week 1, so we can give people some winners. Is there anyone you saw outside the Jets that you liked?
So sorry, I'm like pulling up betting odds on my phone while you're talking. Do you mean outside of this Jets Eagles game, or just in general?
I'm talking like for the futures for the NFL. Like, is there any players that you like? You think you're gonna have like a big season that might not be on the Jets? Then also don't contradict your hatred for certain players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Baker Mayfield guy, so I like betting Baker Mayfield overs because I really root for the guy, and I think that guy plays his best when he is doubted. Unfortunately, he's in a position now, much like he was after he came out of college, where he got doubted, and now the whole world is glazing him.
Yeah.
So for me, this is a season where I probably stay off of Baker Mayfield stuff because the lines are probably going to be adjusted a little bit too high for him. And we don't know, or at least from my vantage point, like I don't know how well he deals with the adoration and the praise. I think he feeds off of the bad. So I don't know how I feel about that one. There are a couple like Achan from Miami. I think that his numbers are a little too low currently. So I've like flirted with doing that, but I haven't pulled the trigger because again, just betting on divisional rival players. Like I don't know how I feel about it. But other than that, like I really haven't done a deep enough dive yet. I think probably that's a good conversation for pre-week 1 next week, where I'll spend some time over the week, like really diving into NFL futures.
Yeah, I think the two ones I like the most, because they're both plus money, is I think people are too off the Texans offense, and the fact that they lost 2 receivers, like Diggs is gone. Tank Dell is, I don't think, going to play football this year because his knee exploded last season. But I think Stroud being plus money to throw 4,000 yards with that offense, I think is a good bet. He's plus 130, and if Dak Prescott stays healthy, he's going to throw over 30 touchdowns. So plus 145 for that. I like both of those bets. I think both of those have a good chance of cashing as long as they stay on the field, which CJ Stroud hasn't had the injury issues, and I think Dak bounces back in your favor.
Yeah, for sure. I will. I'll do my homework next week, and I'll come back with some good picks. I did take a par April or May, like a real degenerate psycho. Let me pull open the bet just so I'm not talking out of my butt here, but it's all right. It's Raiders over 6.5 wins.
Gino?
Patriots under 10.5 wins, which I think is like the lock of the millennium.
Yeah.
I don't think the Patriots win 11 games. I think it's insane to think that they will. And I also have Jets over 5.5 wins. I think the Patriots line, I moved by a game. I think that the true line is 9.5, but I don't think they win 10 games either. And that was a 3-pick. Now things can happen, but
the Jets are involved. Don't use the word easy money. I'm sorry to say. Been burned way too many times by this football team to put the words easy money when it comes to them. But I do like that bet. That is a good one. For tonight, this is the Adrian Martinez, Brady Cook show. I'm assuming each of them will get a half at the rate we're trending. I don't think they have a third quarterback who they're dressing, whose name I haven't even heard of. We'll see how much. We'll see how much. I don't think we're going to see Brees, obviously. I don't know how much Braylon we're going to see. I know Isaiah Davis has been banged up. This could be a big Donovan Edwards game. I kind of like the Jets to have 2 rushing touchdowns tonight at plus 230. Is there any bets you got how you see this game going? Because I don't think the Eagles are really going to try at all.
So I'm going the other way on this one. Jets 2+ passing touchdowns is plus 180. Okay. If you want to get really spicy, 3+ passing touchdowns is plus 600. And that's on DraftKings, where traditionally they're not going to give you as much as they will on a FanDuel or something like that. So I think that you have 2 quarterbacks here who know that they're either going to practice squad or they're going to be the emergency quarterback. And like one of them's NFL life could dramatically change tomorrow. Right. And so I think we've seen enough from these 2 kids over the course of preseason and training camp that like they like to throw around a little bit. Like Adrian Martinez like really takes some chances and he just fires the ball all over the field. And keeping in mind that they're actually fighting for something. When we get this late in the preseason, I try to identify people who are actually fighting for something. So I think your Donovan Edwards point is a good one. Like, I think he's probably going to run as hard as he has in a few years tonight because he knows, now's the time. But I think if we're keying in on Adrian Martinez and Brady Cook, I like that 2 touchdown and 3 touchdown prop. 3 touchdown at plus 600 is spicy. And I might hit it.
Go for it, man. And like I said, we've already hit a plus 1,000 this preseason, so it's never too big to go bold, especially in the preseason, because it's preseason for everybody. If you miss the bet, you can just say, "Hey, it's preseason." I'm working towards the regular season, just like everyone else.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, bud. This game's going to kick off in about 14-ish minutes. Do you want to just plug the live show and let the people really marinate in on what this awful slop of a football game is going to be? So because tickets are still available, people. I have been monitoring us that a lot of people are buying last minute tickets like that. This is exactly what I would do if I wasn't scheduled to appear at the event. I would definitely have bought a ticket day of, because I never do anything on time, which would drive Paul crazy, as you can tell by the Pez reaction right now. So, dude, we are less than 24 hours away. What should we be telling the good people about this event?
It's going to be awesome. We are playing a video. So first of all, difference between last time and this time. Peek behind the curtain here. Last time, the speakers in the bar went out. So people in the front were having a hard time hearing. People in the back had crystal clear audio, but you would think that you put in the effort to get up front near the stage, you would have been able to hear better. Candidly, I couldn't hear anything on stage. I felt like I was shouting to a void when we were up there last time. So we've pressure tested things. We've tested things. We're confident that the audio is going to be good this time around. It was good last time around, and then they went out night of. But it's a different bar. Hopefully, we won't make the same mistake. We also felt like people were standing in one place too long last time, where we thought about moving the stage around and doing different things like that. But we ended up just kind of sitting there talking at you for 3 hours, and we're not going to do that this time. There's going to be people up and down off the stage. There's going to be shorter segments. There's going to be Q&A interspersed throughout. Jake's going to be out in the crowd with the microphone, like having people ask questions, interjecting during segments, all that. Will has a really good segment with John Jastrzemski, who is a Dolphins fan. So if you want to come get your hate out on somebody, we got a target for you. We're also going to have a good amount of the Jets beat there. Almost all of them.
All the ones we care about.
So all the ones we care about, for sure. All the ones who don't talk badly about Badlands. Let's put it that way. So we're pretty excited about that. They're going to be hanging out. They're going to be mingling. I'm pretty sure Will's going to bring them on stage at some point. And then we have this kind of trivia thing going on where we're going to be giving away really good prizes. There are 4 sweet tickets to a Jets Tampa Bay Buccaneers game in Tampa up for grabs. So that's obviously high item there. I think we have 4 or 5 jerseys that we're going to give away. We have a ton of Patreon merch. We have a ton of Badlands merch. We will also have merch for sale. And this one is going to be very much like a quicker pace and more fun than the last one. We're going to have people interspersed throughout the crowd, so we won't be hiding behind a green room or a black curtain the whole time. We are going to have an intermission that'll give everybody a break, chance to go take a piss, chance to go get a beer, all that good stuff. During the intermission, full disclosure, it is not a Badlands produced item. It is a NFL Films retrospect on the last time the Jets were really, really good. So during that intermission, if you just want to hang out and just vibes and enjoy highlights from the 2009 season, that's going to be great. And of course, we have Jake's swan song as part of Badlands. We'll have Jake up there. We'll have Max Toscano up there. Max of Remember the Tight Ends. Max is going to do a lot of Mason Taylor stuff. We'll probably get him to talk about Jeremy Ruckert a little bit. We're going to get him to talk a lot about running the wide zone on offense and why the Jets are cut out and talking heavy about defense. So honestly, I'm actually really looking forward to tomorrow. Last time I was nervous. I thought I was going to puke right before that got going because we had never done it before. We had no idea what we were doing. This time I feel a little bit more comfortable and I feel like we're going to deliver a better product. And most of all, I'm pumped to see Andy. I'm pumped to see Noam. I'm pumped to see. They were 10 or 15 people that I had really good conversations with last time that I'm looking forward to seeing again. So it's going to be a good time tomorrow. I'm pumped.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait. The last part was the most real part about the first one. It's just old people who come up to you and you're just like, yeah, you know, like we're not Joe and Connor. We're more definitely side characters in this whole, shing. But just seeing your guys' support coming up to us is generally the coolest thing. If you enjoy it tomorrow, go up and say how much you enjoy it to Paul, because this is really, he's put in so much work for this live show. The stuff he's done behind the scenes has been incredible. It does not happen without him. So make sure if you enjoyed it, tell him that, because I think it only makes us want to do more. I think that's the biggest part of it. Our segment with Jake is going to be very fun, as he leaves us for, some could say, brighter pastures. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The oversaturation of the Kelseys. We'll see if it happens. If Jake comes crawling back to us, who's to say? But we're so happy for him. He's literally one of the best people at that moment with the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll leave you with this, and I guess we could wrap up a little early, give everybody a chance to get in front of their TVs for the start of this game. Since we had no callers, I'm going to leave you guys with a couple things. Once week one hits, and this is real, and we're talking about real games, like
yes.
We want callers. We know you're sitting in your house doing nothing.
Yeah, you're scared. We get it.
Because that's what we all do too. Like I'm just bouncing off the walls in my house for like 3 hours before Jet game. We're leading right into Connor on SNY. We want the smoke. Like, we want people to come in here. We want Kyle Wilson in here telling Meegs that his takes are horrible to his face, so that we can hash it out and debate it, and then we can hug each other after. Yeah. So make sure when the lights go on next week, we've been averaging about, between the three platforms, I don't know if you guys can see it on your side, but on our side, we could see the three platforms trickling together. And we've been averaging like 1,000 concurrent users for preseason games for a brand new live show, which honestly like makes Meegs and I feel great. Like we weren't sure what this was going to look like. We weren't sure what this is going to be. This has been so much fun. It went from being like, oh my God, I have to record everything before a Jet game, which is my most nervous time of every single week, that I was like a little bit uncomfortable with it, to like, now this is fun because I get to actually talk to other people who are just as crazy as I am for the hour before Jet game every week. So we want you in here for sure. To put it in perspective, like there was a live stream the other day on YouTube that I think had like 50 people watch. And it's like, this is a major TV network with like real people on it. And there were like 50 people watching it. We checked in on it on YouTube, and there was like 200 views a day or two later. So Meegs and I are smashing that with preseason games. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will try to fix the audio issues next week. I will say it was probably my kids streaming TV shows while we're trying to run this. So next week I'll just like, I don't know, I'll lock them in their bedroom or something. Yeah. We'll figure something out for that to make sure it doesn't happen again.
This is exactly why I'm childless, is because I can't be sacrificing audio quality for the sake of fatherhood,
But we definitely want to see you guys pop in next week. And we'll see where this thing goes, man. I mean, this has been really fun throughout the preseason. I can't imagine what it's going to be like for real games. So, Meegs, any final thoughts before we wrap it up and see everybody live and in person tomorrow?
I just wanted to extend my thanks to all the guys, the chat, the community is just so fun that we've been building here. And for doing this for the preseason, doing this when we're going to be watching 1-2 drives of the starters, doing this for full games. I want everyone, all your callers, week one's a war. Like, they're not opening up against the Carolina Panthers, and it's like, it's nice the Jets are back, cool, the Ironclad get to win. Like, they're playing the guy who badmouthed your head coach, who badmouthed your organization, who was promised to savor this organization, and he won 11 games. 11 games. I want you ready for war. Come hard or don't come at all. That's my warning to the Badlands faithful.
Hell yeah. I can't wait. We're going to talk a little bit more about the AG Vibes dynamic tomorrow night while Jake and I are on stage with Meegs. And we'll see you tomorrow, man. Let's get ready for war.
Later.